If your students are guessing on reading questions instead of using text evidence, this is going to fix that. I'm going to show you how you can teach them a simple way for students to find and explain strong text evidence so they will stop choosing answers that sound right and start choosing answers they can actually prove. So here's what I see all the time with our students. They choose answers that sound right, or they copy random sentences, or they guess when they're unsure. And here's the truth that most people miss. They don't have a problem reading. They have a problem finding evidence. And honestly, it isn't really their fault. Most students are told, find the evidence, but they're really not taught how to find the evidence and how to choose the best evidence. So when that happens, if they're not quite sure, they'll select weak details, miss the question completely, or their confidence will start taking a nosedive, which, as every teacher and parent knows, once that happens, it's so much harder to build them back up. So they have the confidence they need to be successful. So this is where we have to shift things and make sure that, not all answers that are correct are still strong answers. So strong readers are constantly being asked, is this the best possible evidence? That is one of the changes, how students can read and really start making sense of what something is true, but it doesn't mean it's the best. There's a simple method to do that. So it's just called the F.M.P method. So all you do is you find the focus question. What is the question really asking? Find the best evidence that matches it, and then prove how the answer supports the question with evidence. And so this gives students a very clear step-by-step way to prove their answers. And you have to remember, they're going to need this at different ways at different levels. So in 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade, they all look just a little bit different. But this will also help you with your ADHD kiddos as well, because you have a clear structure. And whenever you have structure, good things follow. So for the first one, we find the question focus. Before students even look for evidence, they need to ask, what is the question really asking? What am I trying to prove? Because if they don't know what they're trying to prove, they'll just grab anything. Step 2, this is where most students struggle, is matching the evidence to the question. So students need to be able to go back to the text, compare multiple details, and avoid grabbing the first answer that looks close. We want them choosing the strongest match, not the easiest one. And then the third step separates the average readers from the strong readers. When students can prove their answer by saying, or by being able to answer why this evidence supports the answer and how it connects the question and the answer. Once they've got that, it's going to be so much easier. It does take practice, though. So let me show you a couple of responses. We've got a strong versus a weak. So the character was brave. Well, obviously, just by looking at it, you know that that's a weak answer. Your stronger answer, 1, is longer because it has more detail and it's more specific. The character is brave because she enters the cave alone to save her brother. So sometimes, especially when you first start working with this, sentence stems are so important to really help support your students and your kiddos when they're trying to build this, especially if they're struggling with it. you want to use those sentence stems to kind of help them guide in the beginning and slowly take those away. What happens when students learn how to process this? They get more accurate answers, they perform better on tests, their writing gets stronger, and their confidence goes up because now they aren't guessing and they know a system that will work to get them the right answers. So this skill is built over time. So in 6th grade, the main focus is just finding the right evidence. At 7th grade, it goes up a notch to choosing the best evidence. And by 8th grade, they're expected to be able to defend with the strongest evidence. So each layer is a foundation. So if you're in 8th grade and you've got kiddos still struggling with finding the right evidence, you got to drop it down to that 6th grade focus and build them up. That way it's scaffolded and it's helping them where they're at and get where they need to be. It won't take long once they get the practice they need. Now, there's a difference between understanding and mastery. Understanding the process is not the same thing as mastering it. Students may understand what to do, but they may still struggle between choosing between a strong answer and then being able to explain it. That's where all the practice comes in, and it really helps if you start partner practicing or like station work, group work, where they can work together when they communicate with others and then get ideas. That helps, and then bring them back to that individual practice so you can see where they are. I've got a guide. It's completely free. You can download it. That's the QR code, but I'll have the guide link in the description of this video as well. And it's specifically on the F.M.P method. And it'll give you some examples on how you can actually use it with your kiddos and get it going for your class. All right. If you're ready for practice, I'll have the links for the 3 different practices that focus specifically, and they're short, sweet, and to the point. 10 questions, 5 different passages to read, 10 questions, an easy win, an easy practice to really get a good idea of where your kiddo is in the moment so you can pick what goes to the next level. So 6th grade is our foundation. By 7th grade, it's precision. By 8th grade, we're at mastery level on this. All right, so let's stop guessing and start proving. At the end, we want our students to be excellent and successful, and if we give them a system that they can use and repeat, it just makes our life easier and their life way better. All right, well, start using your strategy and you'll see how different your students respond to it. And don't forget to grab your guide in the description link. Alrighty, until next time, take care.